All right,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Your TikTok page,
Yes.
it's interesting. So you have a large following on social media,
hmm
and I've spoken to numerous high performance entrepreneurs, fitness influencers, but yours is very much very well diverse from boxing to entrepreneurship to, and I always wonder, anything to do with social media is great, especially if it's positive, because you have a lot of positive material that you post.
hmm
But what would be the best advice you have ever received, and how did that influence you?
Well, I think I kind of mentioned this to you earlier. So for the longest time when Instagram, social media first came out, everyone was just like, I want to be famous. And you didn't even know why or what for. And I, like, forever, I tried to build a following, but I didn't know why or what for. And everyone always said stuff like, oh, you got a niche, you got to find a niche market, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really have one. As soon as I jumped into boxing and I niched my content, not on purpose, I didn't jump on into boxing just to get an Instagram following. But as soon as I started posting purely boxing stuff, that's when it really blew up. Because I think you find people that fully relate with who you are and what you do. And the rest, I'll just pretty much always keep it boxing. And now as I move into the next stage of boxing work, it'll go down that path.
Did you hear about a law that they're trying to pass on restricting children from accessing social media? I think
Mm.
it's 14.
Mm.
And I mean,
Yeah.
you and I, we were sort of brought up in the 90s. I mean, what year were you born? When
80,
89.
yeah,
So
just
born,
outside.
yeah, born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. And it's interesting. I was watching American Pie 1 probably like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And this is the time before social media, where people weren't glued to their fucking phones. They weren't just, everyone was just talking and socializing. But I think it's an interesting time we're living in, because yes, social media is such a powerful tool. It's been fantastic for you, but there is a dark side to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you manage how much time you spend on social media? Because you are a content creator
Mm.
and you're also a promoter for boxing as well. But how do you sort of grapple that?
It's funny now, the more work I have to do on social media, the less interested I am in consuming it. So, like, I used to sit there and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll because it wasn't work. Now that it's turned into more work, as soon as I've done my work, I'm like, get my phone away from me. Like, I just don't want to look at it anymore. And like, the more, and don't get me wrong, don't ever twist this in the wrong way. Like, the better I get at it, the more people ask me to help them with theirs. And I will help where I can. But because I'm constantly doing this, for my brand, for the Next Gen brand, for the CSC brand, for whoever else's brand I'm helping out, as soon as I've done my work, I put my phone away.
Yeah.
Like, I think now that I work not fully, now that I work a lot on social media, I've watched the less amount of stories ever. I look at other people's posts, the least I've ever looked at them.
Yeah.
So it's the more I work, the less I want to look at it.
Yeah, I like that. I think you can either be a consumer or a creator.
Mm.
And I mean, we all fall into that trap where we're just doing this shit,
Mm.
for hours on end.
Mm.
And it kind of sucks you in a little bit, doesn't it? It draws you in.
Yeah, well, each platform is designed to keep you on there longer.
Yeah, it does. I mean, social media is amazing. It's such a powerful tool. It's how you and I connected.
Mm.
But at the same time, it does have a very deleterious side to it. But what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, I mean, you've always sort of gravitated towards fitness. I mean, how did this whole journey start for you?
No, I always wanted to be on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know what. I just remember being like, I want to be on TV, like every little
Yeah.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed kid. I think I just finished high school and I was dancing as well. So I did, had a lot of dancing gigs and I danced in my own spare time. And then I wanted to work, you need to work to pay the bills, but I didn't want to work a desk job. So I was like, what's a fun job I can do? And then it ended up being fitness, because I was like, oh, fitness is like jumping around and staying fit and being bubbly around people. That's honestly the reason I got to, if everyone talks about fitness, like, I want to help people, I want to do this. No, I just wanted a fun, bubbly job. That's all it was. And so I did that. And then I think I don't know, I'm a problem solver type of person. So I I got good at group fitness. I got good at PT. I got good at management. I became PT manager within like a year of being a PT. Like just figured out, I just like figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
And then, I worked in gyms as a PT manager for like 5-10 years. And then I got a partner. Then we started our own gym, and then that didn't work out. And then I split and went somewhere else, and then I started boxing, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you recently had a fight not so long ago. What was that experience like?
So that one, it was a corporate fight. It was a last minute one. There were like 3 weeks notice. It was one of those, I don't want to talk bad about the opponent because it's nothing personal. It really isn't. It was just one of those ones like, oh yeah, she's had no fights. She's really average. Like 3 weeks out, you'll be fine. This, whatever. It was like kind of, you just get under this weight-ish, you'll be right. And then I was like, okay, I didn't know anything about anything. I had a whole bunch of personal stuff happen, and I was like, I just want to have a fight just to distract myself for a couple of weeks. Why not? I'll do it. And then, yeah, we get there. Turns out she's had a few fights. She won a belt or something in her last one. I don't know. And then I was like, okay, whatever. And then I did it. And then it was one of those, it was definitely a learning curve. Like it was one of those ones where I was told to figure her out in the first one and stay behind the jab. But I sort of was like, I'm not like that. I'm sort of one to just come forward, land some, and then move. But because I got told to step back to try and figure her out, the first round didn't go my way. And it sort of just ended up being more messy than I wanted. But once I figured it out, second round I came back hard, third round came back even harder, and then just didn't get the decision.
Yeah.
But it was, again, a learning curve. The coach that I was with, I'd only been with for a couple of weeks as well. So it was still us trying to get to know each other as well. And it was all just a last minute thing, but still a learning curve. Like fighting is learning. Every time you fight, you learn. Like, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
You know what I love about fighting, Maria? Like I've been fighting for 30 years and I'm heavily into martial arts, but there's nothing more than getting into the ring, or if it's wrestling with a high level black belt, teaches you so much about yourself.
Yeah.
It shows you your weaknesses. It shows you your strengths. It's the purest form of adversity being immersed in that realm. And how do you apply that in life? Like, how would you apply what you do in boxing and how you apply that in life, whether it be tackling certain obstacles with business, raising your son?
Yeah.
How do you apply that?
I think the biggest thing with me, and I kind of learned this just recently, is my biggest personality, what would I say, advantage over, I don't know, other personalities. My biggest personality advantage is I always find a way. Whatever happens, I don't believe in the quote, everything happens for a reason, but I do believe things happen, and depending on who you are, you either find a way or you don't.
Yes.
So, very much like, I won't be able to fight forever. I've always like I'm in my mid-30s now. I've always prided myself on being a very physical. Like I used to dance, I used to perform, I used to just do everything physical. As you get older, you obviously can't do that. And recently I've been like, if I'm not a physical athlete or a performer, then what am I? And I was talking to a friend about this, and he literally was like, yeah, but Maria, no, everything that you've ever done, you always found a way. So you may not be as physical, but I bet you'll find a way to do something that makes you happy. And then he was like, you're literally starting a promotional company so that you can still do things that make you happy. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. So fighting for me, it's literally like, I like to have fun. I like to be physical, and I like to get in there and always find whatever happens, I find a way to make it work for me. Yeah.
So what has been the biggest turning point for you?
In life?
Yeah, and in your career, like in general, like because you're so very well diverse, you're doing content creating, promoting boxing, fights, but what would you say has been the biggest turning point?
Oh God, what a deep question.
It is. We're going a bit deep on this one. You told you I'd throw in some curveballs.
Biggest turning point for me. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, if you follow anyone that follows me on Instagram would know, like recently I had some stuff go on. I lost a child pretty much, and I was told that I can't, like, I have a son at the moment. He's my greatest joy in the world. I absolutely love him. And because I lost a child, I was told I can't then get pregnant, because you instantly lose a child, especially a baby, an infant.
Yeah.
You instantly think like, oh, I'll just get pregnant again, make another one. But I got told I wasn't allowed to get pregnant again for 2 years because of the healing that needs to happen. And if I do get pregnant again, I'll essentially die. So I was like, okay, well, I've got 2 years here to make something of myself, to get to a place where I'm comfortable in my life, where I can get pregnant again and bring a child in and be comfortable. So that was pretty much it. I pretty much was like, okay, I've got 2 years to make something amazing happen, so that when my body's ready and healed, I can get pregnant and everything's going to be set. So that happened, and I went straight into work mode to fight, have a promotional company, and do everything as much as I can physical for the next 2 years. And once that 2 years comes around, can get pregnant again. If I get pregnant straight away, then at least I'll have this like more business side of my life that I can still do once I have a new baby and all that sort of stuff.
How has being a mum changed you?
It's made me more, to be honest, good and bad. It's made me more empathetic. I have to always, because you have to think about another person. You have a whole ass of a person you're responsible for. It's made me empathetic, but it's also made me a little bit more harsher on other people that find excuses for things. Because if I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm not single now, but for the longest time, I'm a single mum. I pay my own way. I still get to training. I still get to do this. I still pay my bills. I still do that. What's your excuse? Like, I literally have a whole other person that I'm responsible for.
Facts.
And like, what, you slept through your alarm? What do you mean? Like, so it's, it's made me softer and harsher at the same time.
Yeah. What would be some advice to women out there that obviously are career driven, but then at some point down the line, they do want to have a family? Because that's the hard thing, isn't it? It's putting...
I think with that sort of stuff, it all comes down to your lifestyle. It also depends on privilege. Like, if you've got cash, if you've got lots of family around you, if you've got a partner that's actually willing to do 50-50. Like, there's this one woman I listen to who is absolutely amazing, and she does everything 50-50 down to the dot. So she got pregnant. She took, I think, 2 months off after she got pregnant, but then her partner took the next 2 months off, and she went back to work after that. And everything has been extremely 50-50 since then. And that's how she wants her life to be raised. And now both of them have a career, because look at like Gisele Bündchen and
Tom Brady.
You know, they were married for however long. She said, you do your career and I'll wait for you to retire. Then I'll jump back into mine. He retired, and she's like, sweet. And he's like, jokes, I'm going back to sport. And she was like, well, when is it my turn? When is it seriously my turn? So everyone talks about this, like women contributing, women in doing this, and then everybody getting a fair turn, but it's never fair. It's very rare for a man to actually go, okay, now I'll stop and you go back to your career and I'll be a full-time dad. I don't think I've ever seen that. A man actually go, okay, it's your turn now. I'll stay home for the next 10 years.
And it's fucking hard, because I mean, we're in a situation now where, you know, everything is becoming hyper expensive, and you know, you do need two parents, you know, two working class parents to help support a family. It's fucking difficult, isn't it? It's so damn hard.
Yeah.
So hard. Yeah. So what would be some advice, especially to young people out there that want to become content creators? Like, is there a time or a particular time to post? Because how do you manage this time with that?
For this one video I saw, I reckon 10 years ago, from Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And he literally said, don't stress about the time and the hashtags and blah, blah, blah. Good content will find a way of getting it. I think I schedule my posts now because I don't have time. But before scheduling was a thing, I would just post it whenever I made it, and I always found a way to get out. If you are niching down if there's thought behind your content, if you've got a specific type of person you're trying to reach, and you are always thinking about that specific market, it'll find a way to get to them. As soon as the best advice I can give to anyone that's actually trying to create a following, as soon as you realize that your content isn't about how you're feeling, that's when you're actually going to blow up. If you're constantly thinking like, if my audience stops and see this, are they going to laugh? Are they actually going to share this? Are they actually going to see this video and be like, oh my God, that's so me?
Yeah.
And that's when you're going to start making content that people actually relate to. As every time you're trying to be like, oh, but I'm really pretty, aren't I? Like, look at this video of me, really pretty. Like, people don't care.
Yeah.
Like, maybe after you get 1 million followers, they'll be like, oh, she's so pretty. But like, if you just got to constantly be thinking about, if someone's going to watch this, what's going to stop their scroll? What's going to make them relate and see themselves in that video? You're constantly trying to get people to see themselves in your video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you use like a particular to kind of draw their attention? Because I mean,
Content, not
nah.
like, I think if you're doing informational content, motivational content, educational content,
Yeah.
for sure, you need those type of hooks and stuff to get people.
Yeah.
But my stuff's all short form, funny content. It's just stuff to make you laugh. It's stuff to make you like literally share to a friend, stuff that's going to be like, because that's like, as much as I have a lot of deep thoughts, essentially I just want to make people laugh.
Yeah. No.
You know, so mine's just about making someone giggle and sharing it. That's all. That's as far as my like thought goes into like the actual making of it.
And how many reels or how many videos or stories like are you constantly posting every day?
Yeah, I've recently just had that break, about a month off. But yeah, generally at least once a day.
Yeah.
Once a day for actual posts, and then stories. Just honestly, the more off the hook you are with your stories, the better. Like if you're just as real as your content can get, and again, if you just think of it as like people think this is funny, instead of just like, look how hot I am. Like that stuff is so boring. As soon as I see that, I either like mute them or I'm so over the self-indulgent stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that's just me. I know there's a lot of successful self-indulgent influencers out there. But for my type of content, sports type of content, shareable sort of content, you got to think, oh, this is fun. I'll share this with my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you draw imagination from all sorts of realms, or do you come up with your own ideas? Like, how do you?
Like, of course, you come up with your own ideas, usually at like 11 o'clock at night in bed when I kind of execute them and I put them in my notes app. But yeah, I will say anytime that I'm like scrolling or flicking or seeing a video, I'm immediately thinking, how can I take that video and turn it into something that for my audience? So if I see like a cheerleading one, I'll be like, oh, and it's got a funny audio, I'll be like, oh, what if we swap the cheerleader for a boxer and they throw this punch instead of a kick? That type of thing.
Yeah.
So almost every time I see a video that I laugh at or I stop scrolling to watch, I'll think of how I can put myself in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find the algorithm very interesting. And, you know, we live in a situation now where people have TikTok brain. They cannot fucking pay attention. And as a content creator myself, I try and figure out the best time to post, what the audience is going to appreciate. And do you find that humor, I think, has been very beneficial with some of your reels, because that seems to captivate the audience a lot more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, yeah, honestly, anything that you see that's like, oh, that's so me. That's the best type of content. Relatable content. People always talk about relatable content, but that's honestly what it is. You see yourself in a video, you're more likely to share it because everyone is about themselves. That's why if you realize your content's not about you and it's about other people thinking about themselves, that's when your stuff's going to go off.
I really appreciate what you just said. And I think it's interesting. Like, yeah, we are in a situation now where, you know, vanity and people are very vain. It's all about them. But I think if you provide value in a way that can resonate with your audience, that's appealing and authentic,
and makes them feel seen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just me. No,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, how important would you say authenticity is in gaining followers?
Absolutely. It's everything. As soon as you try to be someone you're not, you either get 0 views or people see right through you. And depending on what platform you are, people can be savage. Like,
they can, can't they? Yeah.
Like I said, they'll see right through it and they'll tear you to shreds, or you just won't get any views. Like, people can see authenticity or the lack of it a mile away.
Have you ever had some pretty harsh comments?
Oh, yeah. But I've had comments turned off for a long time.
Yeah.
I only see comments from people I follow now.
Right.
And it's very rare that I'll see, I go through my videos, you'll see some of the shit that people say. I've probably never seen it, and I probably never will see it.
Yeah.
The only time I ever see like really hateful random comments is if one of my followers will go into bat for me, and I'll see that they're in this, like, they'll keep popping up, and I'm like, who are they talking to? And I see that they're in a war. Like, people will go in to stick up for me, and they'll go into wars with randoms, and I'll be like, I'll message them and be like, babe, don't do that. Like, I don't care about what this random person on the internet has to say about me. You shouldn't either. And they're like, yeah, but I hate when people go for people I love. And I'm like, I don't care about this person.
Yeah.
I don't care about their opinion. Stop talking to them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a great mindset to adopt, because the internet can be fucking ruthless, can't they? They really can.
Yeah. And it is a big thing, like, especially with, like, in the boxing gym, if I try to build people's profiles up and they start to get more views, what comes with that is the hate comments. And that is probably the hardest thing for people to get their head around. They'll see one hate comment for some random person on the internet. They'll be like, oh, what this idiot said. I'll be like, ignore them. And they won't want to post after them.
Yeah.
They'll literally get one random hate comment on, like, criticizing their boxing or their pad holding or their style. They won't want to post after that. So you do have to have a tough skin, but you also just have to, like, realize it's some random on the internet.
Yeah.
Probably never gotten off their couch for the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
Like, the people that have no experience are the ones with the biggest mouths.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson once said, people are so quick to judge on the internet without getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's...
Have you seen that Joseph Parker video?
No.
Where it's so funny. You should look it up. And it's just like, they rock up to this random dude's house and they're like, hello, are you user 5861, blah, 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 blah? And he's like, yeah. And he said, you said Joseph Parker looked like he could work on his left hook. Is that right? And he goes, oh, and he shows him the comment that he left. And then Joseph Parker walks out of the van and he's like, oh.
You'll have to send that to me. Yeah, send it through.
But it's the truth. Like,
yeah,
it's always just some random with no experience trying to give their 2 cents because it makes them feel important for 30 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what strategies can content creators implement to draw more traffic to their pages? What can they do?
Well, like I said before, it's all about finding your perfect audience. And I know you hear that a lot. And I remember I heard it a lot and I'm like, well, like, for the longest time, I didn't have a perfect audience because I didn't even know what I wanted out of a following. I just wanted followers. Like, I literally didn't know. And then, like I said, because I started boxing about that sort of stuff. And when you start boxing and then it, like, leads to wanting to fight and getting on cards and blah, 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 the better your following is, the better your chances for stuff like that. So then I started to be like, okay, well, that's my goal. And then, yeah, so if you figure out what you want from it, figure out who the type of people are watching to give you what you want, and then start posting for them. That's how you get there.
Yeah, and being real, authentic. Yeah, and less about you, more about them providing value. Yeah. And you were in the fitness industry, so you're a PT.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the current wave in the fitness industry and how it is today? What do you think of it?
If I'm being painfully honest, I hate it.
Yeah.
I just, I can't deal with another person posing in the mirror. I can't deal with another peachy shot. I can't deal with another glutes workout. Maybe it's because I'm in my 30s and I'm just over that, like, look at me stage. Like, I still like people looking at me, don't get me wrong, but, like, I can't do the super posy stuff anymore. And I don't know, I don't like a bunch of, early 20-year-olds trying to give advice on how to stay lean and stuff, when it's like, you're literally just lean because you're young.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not a hater. You do you. We all have to go through our journeys, and I went through that exact journey. Like, I definitely was a fitness influencer when I first started, and not very good one, but I wanted to be one. And if it makes you money and if it makes you happy, then cool. I just think you have to be really careful with this sort of stuff. Like I told you before the camera's on, I did a fitness competition once 15 years ago, and only in the last 2 years have I gotten over the eating disorder for it because of the stuff that I was told I needed to do to stay lean. So I think it can be very damaging. I think there's a lot of people out there giving advice who shouldn't be giving advice. But I also think that people need to go through their journey. Like, a lot of people be in the fitness industry that are in there now, they'll be in there for 30 years. It's all part of your learning curve. But I do think the world as a whole is getting better at, like, body acceptance, and you don't have to be shredded and you don't have to be super duper lean all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my general thought on fitness as a whole. But I haven't been to like a normal gym. Actually, tell a lie. I go to like a recovery at a normal gym, and I will say it is surprising. It's not as superficial as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's probably getting better.
Yeah.
I just personally don't like looking at any of that sort of stuff because it's not good for men.
Yeah. You're 100% right. The interesting thing, I think, with social media is the filters and what you can do. You know, people can make them appear slimmer and more tanned. And
In videos even.
yeah.
I got accused in one of my videos recently. I did a random like dancing one, and there was a heat wave that came off my car that was next to me, and someone accused me of morphing my video.
Oh my.
And I was like, why is my, and I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, look at the heat, look at your car, it literally moves. And I'm like, why would I morph my car if I'm trying to morph? Like, it was so confusing.
That's, yeah.
So what do you mean?
Yeah.
But I guess because there's so much so much of it out there at the moment, people are hyper aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of young people now too are using social media as well. You know, this, as we were talking about, social media is a fantastic tool, but yeah, it has a deleterious side to it, and it can become quite damaging, especially, you know, before we started filming. We're seeing a trend now, especially in men, body dysmorphia.
Mm.
You know, we always thought that body dysmorphia was, you know, for both genders, but we're leaning a little bit more towards men now. So men are obviously under the assumption that they need to get bigger. They need to start hitting the gym a bit, you know, and just getting bigger and bigger. They don't feel like they're big enough.
Mm.
What would be some advice that you could give just even for fitness influencers? Because you're right, this can be damaging, especially if we're talking about the next generation that's coming through, keeping it real, keeping it authentic. But what would be some advice to encourage fitness influencers to, you know, behave in a manner that's actually going to be acceptable, you know, for their audience?
I think sport is the answer to everything. Like if anyone, like I said to you again before we started recording, I had so many issues with calories and training and constantly what I look like and blah, blah, blah. It literally wasn't until I stepped into a boxing gym that I finally let go of all that sort of stuff. And it's because it's about your physical ability rather than what you look like.
Yes.
Only then, after like however 12, 15 years, whatever it was, only then when you walk into a sports gym and it's focused on, it doesn't matter how good you look, you're going to get punched in the face if you don't know how to throw a jab or if you don't know how to defend. It does not matter how good you look.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you're a bit leaner, you're a bit faster, but you'll just go against someone who's just as lean as you. So like, I honestly think that sport is the answer to everything, and no matter what age. So like, obviously I'm biased towards boxing, but whether it's MMA or it's Muay Thai or if it's jiu-jitsu or whatever, you play footy, whatever, like, and it comes down to your ability rather than what you look like. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But then there's obviously a market for just fitness, because there's some people who don't want to focus on their ability and they do just want to lose a couple kilos. But I just think if you're going to do that, make sure you go for a coach that is a similar life stage to you. Like there's nothing worse than, let's just say you're a me, but you're a don't train version of me. You're 34, you've got a child, you work shitload. You don't want to be taking advice from someone who's 20, who drinks and parties every weekend, but still stays skinny, who doesn't have any kids, doesn't really have any commitments. You don't want to be taking advice from them because you're just on different life stages. So that's the only thing. I understand that there's a market for just gyms.
Yes.
But I just think there's a responsibility of the coaches to only be giving advice to the people who they can give advice to, and not taking the piss and just giving advice to everyone because you want to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, everyone's got to go through their journey. I think I did that a little bit in my first couple of years of PT. I just took on whoever, even though I knew I couldn't give them advice. But it's all a learning curve. Yeah. I look back at stuff I did when I was 20 and I'm like, but I learned from it. So,
what have you learned about yourself from stepping in the ring?
I realized I'm a slow starter. I have to cop a couple good ones before I get going. which means I am a little bit of I don't tackle things too aggressively quickly, which I don't think is a bad thing. What I've learned about myself is violence isn't natural. You have to learn it. Because I've never been in a fight outside of the ring, ever.
Yeah.
Never. Like, which is odd. People think the size of me, big brown chick, I'd always get into fights. Never. So like, and I think the hardest part for me was like, I think because I used to be a dancer, I like picked up the skill stuff pretty easily. It was the aggression I had to learn. So I've had to learn to be aggressive inside of the ring. I've had to learn to but I've also had to learn how to keep my personality outside of the ring.
Yes.
Because for the longest time, when I first started boxing, everyone told me I smiled too much. And then I went into this weird downward spiral where I felt like I couldn't smile because everyone was judging me. But then it took me a while to realize it actually doesn't matter how much you smile. It's not going to make you a better fighter or not.
Yeah.
So it is finding that balance between like learning how to be aggressive, but still staying true to your personality. And I don't know, it's all a learning journey. I'm still learning. It's only a couple of years in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. I love what you just said then. Some of the kindest, some of the most benevolent and just down to earth people I have ever met in my life are trained killers. It's just an interesting thing, especially, and I talk to countless fighters. I've spoken to people that have fought in mixed martial arts, people that are very well equipped, very skilled, skilled violence, I like to call it. And yeah, these people are just so down to earth. But I think fighting is one of those few things that really does teach you about yourself. It's voluntary adversity. It's putting yourself into a situation where you're gassed, you're tired, you think, fuck, not another round to go. You're pushing the limits. It does. But I think it's just that combat sense of violence that makes you a kinder person. And you're right, it does. It just manifests into your whole life. Yeah. Do you think this is also lacking in today's generation?
Yeah, I honestly think that it should be like a law that everyone has to do some sort of combat sport.
Facts.
Because you figure out pretty quickly how tough you actually are. If you've been fighting for a long time and you go out into the street and you see someone being tough, you're like, I actually know that I could drop you in half a second. Like, you're actually not that tough at all. Like, I think it would check everybody's ego if everybody had to do it.
Yeah.
Like, just for a couple of years.
The world would be kinder.
They would, because you would realize how easy it is to get effed up. You realize that you wouldn't just randomly say stuff to someone on the street because you don't know who you're yelling stuff out at. And like, that's what gets people in altercations. Like, I just think ego is the biggest problem in this.
It really is.
If there's checked every now and then,
Yeah.
everything would be a lot better.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alcohol and ego, they're the two things that fuel violence. And if we look at any altercation that happens in the street, when people are intoxicated, but then also ego's involved. And I reflect on my martial arts journey and, growing up doing it for so long, but then my first introduction is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a grappling art. And it's one of the few styles where a smaller person that's weaker than you can overpower you with technique. And I talked about this on a podcast just recently. My first introduction to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I got my ass handed to me by a girl, 45 kilo, 50 kilogram, high level blue belt. She fucked me up. It really is. It's such a humbling experience. But I 100% agree with you that more people need to train in some sort of combat sport or put themselves into hard lessons, because they're teachable moments, and implementing this into schools even too, and getting kids involved. Yeah. What about school curriculums? Do you think, this is something that I think also that they need to encourage kids, is to putting them into, not just physical sport, but encouraging pain as the lessons, the teachable moments to help push through plateaus and obstacles?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe jiu-jitsu, yeah. I think boxing, definitely not. Like,
yeah,
you get wrecked stuff.
No. Yeah, I mean, like control. Yeah, an environment like jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Yes. And then it would give kids confidence and all that sort of stuff. Yes, I do think that. I think it's more applicable for young girls. Just because, like, even as a grown woman, like, it's very rare, but every now and then you do get men that come in and they'll be like, going in against the chick. Like,
Yeah.
and then even I know that I'm going to say this, and let's just say this video ends up on the internet. So many men are going to be in these comments like, it doesn't matter how much training she's had, but still mess her up. Like, I can't tell you, like, and you as a man sitting here, you'd be like, actually, no, a woman who's trained actually can hold her own. Like, and it's happened a couple of times. Like, I've been in a class before where a guy's going a bit too, like, let's say we're supposed to be doing shoulder tag. This happened to me a while ago. We're supposed to be doing shoulder tag. We're supposed to be tapping. And this guy, I go with this chick, I can tell. He's just, I want to go with the only chick in the class. And I'm like, and he's tapping too hard. And I was like, oh, Bros, I think he's just tapping. And he kept hitting, like, pounding my shoulder. And I was like, I think it's just supposed to be tapping. And he just did it again. And I went, boom, boom, straight down the middle twice here. And he, like, tossed his head back. He was like, oh, and he got all worked up. Like, sorry. Like, but, and, like, you can just tell his ego was so hurt. Like, oh my God, she hit me. Like, and even just in social settings, like this happened to me recently when I was on holiday. Someone was like, oh, you're boxing. I'd still mess you up. Here. And I was like, okay. And he put his hands up. He threw like the most untrained, like 3 hooks. And I went boom, boom, straight down the middle. And he was like, oh. Like, and it's just that like ego of thinking that. But again, as soon as you're trained, you don't think about punching other women. You don't. You're like, okay, how do I beat another male that's my weight? Like, it gets rid of that, like, I want to beat up someone weaker than me. Like, you're actually trying to get better at your weight and your class and your division. So I think it's good for men to bring down their ego. It's good for women to bring up their confidence. Like, it's just, yeah.
I think it's amazing. It's amazing, anyone that gets into combat sports. But yeah, it does my fucking head in when I hear people say, oh yeah, you know, because you're a girl, I could blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you fucking couldn't. Yeah. I've been around this for a long time. I know what's going on. I know the capability of even some of my female students. Like, I had this new male student that came into the academy a long time ago. And one of my female students, I said, I just put her with him. He was just getting a little bit rough. I said, I want you to turn it up. She got on his back. She sunk in a rear naked choke and choked him out. He woke up, light bulb went off. And I think, you're not as tough as you think.
Yeah.
You know, and I think too, getting humbled is really good. It's good for you. Yeah. They're great lessons because it keeps your ego in check, as you were talking about before.
Yeah. And it teaches you respect for others. And it also makes you want to actually be genuinely better. Not like be better than other people by picking on the weaker person. You're like, well, how do I stop this from happening again? I'll get better. You know, like, whereas people that don't get that ego check, they'll just find someone weaker than them and try to control them or try and hurt them or whatever, you know? So, yeah.
So how many rounds was your last fight?
It was only 3. I've only done 3 rounds.
3 rounds. Are you working up to doing 12 rounds?
Well, it all depends. At the moment, I'm still just doing corporate. I might jump into the amateur amateur circuit next year. But also, like, I'm trying to get some, because I don't know if I want to talk about this.
If you've got something on the side, we can edit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't know if I could talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it's signed, but nothing's locked in.
You've got something in the works.
Yeah. What's something in the works?
Watch this space.
Yeah. So
watch this space.
Finish first.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly just waiting to hear back. So,
yeah.
So it's either going to be the amateur circuit in the new year or something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the training like? So with boxing, like I've fought mixed martial arts, but boxing's a different sort of element of fighting. What's the training like?
I think I gravitated towards boxing because it is extremely skills focused. Like, every time you think you got your head movement down pat, your jab goes missing.
Yeah.
Every time you figure out your jab, your footwork's off. So it's just constantly like just perfecting the art. And I've always been an artist, performing artist.
Yeah.
I love that it's like kind of like a dance. So in regards to the training itself, it's like, I would say like 2 or 3 days is skill work, 2 or 3 days is partner work, and then you might be about spar maybe once a week or twice a week.
You get in and spar the guys?
Yeah, of course. But I love sparring the guys because they're great. But you can never, like, you never know if they're going hard on you or not. You just never do. Like, even though you cop some hard punches sometimes, and I definitely think they're going hard, you just never know. And I don't think they even know, because I reckon there'd be a part of them, especially the good, respectable boxers. I think there'd still be a part of them that always hold back a little because they don't want to knock out a chick. because there's no pride in that. There's no like, oh, sweet, I knocked out a chick in a boxing gym. There's no pride in that. And it's also like, especially if it's someone that you're working with in your gym, you're just there to try and make each other better, not try and knock each other out.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, definitely I get in there with the guys and I love it. But I think the true test is someone that's your gender and your weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you spar with people sort of similar ranking as you, as skill level? Or do you spar just a mixed?
I've only done a little bit of sparring since my last fight. And I don't know if I should be name dropping and stuff.
Nah.
But like, so my most recent spar was probably a month ago before my holiday. And she's pretty high level. She definitely tests me. She's a really, really good sparring partner. I enjoy sparring her. She does leave you sore though.
Yeah.
But those are the ones you want. Those are the ones, the hard spars.
You southpaw or orthodox?
Orthodox.
Orthodox. Do you ever change it up a little bit and just?
Every now and then for maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah.
If I'm overthrowing something and I need to step, and I'll throw an extra one, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bas Rutten says one of the most effective knockouts you can do is the liver shots. And I've been hitting the liver and it's fucking painful. Have you ever been hitting the liver before?
No, but I've hit someone else and dropped.
Yeah. Did they just drop like a sack of potato?
No, it takes a second.
Yeah.
It takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds. They go.
Yeah.
And then they make a weird noise and then they slowly drop.
It's painful. It's very painful.
It happened this morning in the gym
Really?
to someone else. I didn't do it. I saw it happen to someone else. But it is exactly that. It's like you see it there, and then you see them just take a couple steps back and then they go, wait. And then they drop.
Yeah.
So it's like a slow burn.
Yeah, exactly. And so leading up to a fight, what is some of the preparation regarding endurance? Like, do you implement weight training or circuit training? Is it shadow sparring? Like every day is different. Like what do you do leading into a fight?
So I've only had this one fight with my most recent coach. I think the coach sort of determines what you do. Yeah. For me, because I'm fairly new, like it's just keeping my fitness as peak as possible, keeping my weight as down as possible without sacrifice, without any fatigue or without feeling like crap. So once I get into this new year and I do a bit more, then I'll be able to answer that question better. But it all comes down to the coach and what they want to do. And it also depends if you have to drop weight and stuff. Like if you're dropping weight, then your whole week before a fight is just focused on that.
What's the weight cutting like? Because that can be fucking hectic.
Depends what you do. Like I know some people that just don't cut weight. They just don't do it.
Really?
Yep. They walk around at 69, they fight at 69. Which I think is a good way to be. But then you also run the risk of fighting someone who did cut weight and they come in a lot heavier than you on the fight day. But again, it's different amateur and pros because pros get to weigh in 24 hours before, whereas an amateur might weigh in an hour before.
Yeah.
So it just depends what you're doing. The corporate fight that I did recently was a 24-hour before weigh-in. I think I had to drop 1 or 2 kilos for it. I just did like a really, really low, easy water drop, which I'd loaded up for the week and I didn't drink for the last 20 hours and I dropped 2 kilos.
Yeah.
But then I dropped it and then I didn't put it back on after that.
Really?
Yeah. It was just one of those things. I just dropped it and then because I was running heaps to that point and I just kept running and just stayed off.
Yes. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of fighters do experience the negative effects of cutting weight, and it becomes dangerous. It can become very, very dangerous. I mean, I've heard of UFC fighters even before a fight that have just completely exhausted themselves into the point where they've had to physically, pull off the fight and go to hospital. Like it can become quite dangerous, can't it?
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather never cut any of his fights.
Didn't he really?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he didn't. He just was always lean and just walked in at his weight.
Yeah.
I know someone that did a dramatic weight cut and I know that one girl, years ago, she drained herself completely. She had nothing left to give. And she was literally they're like, you're still 300 grams over. She's like, just cut my hair off. She had a big ponytail and she was like, just cut it off. And they're like, we're not going to do that. And she's like, I can't give you any more weight.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
To cut weight, she actually cut her fucking...
No, she was so drawn out at that point. And they're like, you still have 300 grams. And she's like, just cut my hair off. And they're like, we're not going to do that. I think they stuck her in the sauna for a little bit longer, but she was... but she was just to the point where she was so drawn, she had nothing left. She was like, just take my hair. I can't do anything else. I think that's silly.
Yeah. So who's been some influential people in your journey so far? Who's helped you?
In boxing?
Yeah.
It's been a tough one. I really loved my first coach. I think he's German, I'm German, so we like bonded over that. I really, really liked him. He's awesome. I always have a soft spot in my heart for him. My new coach is really amazing too. The whole crew here at CSC has been really good in terms of bringing my personality back to life. Like when I first started boxing, I think I told you I was really bubbly and out there, and I just laughed at everything, and I was really like, ah, ha, ha. And then like my first lot of boxing, it was very much like everyone's like, you need to calm down. You need to stop smiling so much. I literally got told, I reckon once a week, you smile too much.
What's wrong with smiling?
Oh, I think everyone was just like, no one took me seriously.
Really?
It was kind of like, if you want to be taken serious as a fighter, you need to like stop being so thin.
Doesn't Floyd Mayweather smile in the ring?
This is Australia. Australia is a very self-deprecating type of country. Like,
True.
yeah, like you get far in Australia if you're like, oh, I'm not that good. Oh, I'm not that great.
Modesty.
Yeah.
Modesty. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very much like the first like year of boxing, I got told I smiled too much, and it wasn't until I came here to CSC, everyone sort of was like, no, we love your funny stuff. No, like I got to know you because you were so funny or because you're so this. And it's taken me a while, but I've come back out of my shell where I'm like, actually, no, I can smile. I can be funny and bubbly and fight too. So yeah. I think that's coming here has really brought my bubbly side back out again.
Yeah.
Which I'm so grateful for.
Yes. What would be the one skill you think has helped you, just become, better, not just in your career, but just in general as a person?
My one skill. My creativity.
Yes.
My 100% my creativity and my just love of performing. I don't even want to say that I love fighting. I don't.
You don't like fighting?
No, I like putting on a show.
Right.
Like I like getting out there and being like, oh, the times are tough. Let's see what I can do to entertain.
Interesting.
I really
Really?
Like I told you, outside of the ring, I've never been in a fight. I'm not a violent person. I actually don't.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I just like getting in there and be like, okay, like my first fight as well, got pumped in the first 30 seconds. Nose like thing. And I remember just being like, and I felt my legs go too. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like if I don't pull something out of my ass here, this is going to be, but I love that feeling.
Did you break your nose?
No.
Oh.
It was just a clean shot right there.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, if I don't pull something out of my ass here, like you're going to look like an idiot. And I remember just being like, not me. Not
Yeah.
I perform. I put on a good show. I remember just thinking that. And that same thing happened in my last fight too. Like the first round I got pumped. And then I remember like in my corner, they were like, do you want this or not? And I was like, yeah, I fucking want this. And I remember just being like, fuck that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put on a show.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like putting on a show. So,
yeah,
I think it's just my creativity and love to perform.
I love that. I think it's just an expression of art. I'm a martial artist. Technically, I classify you as a martial artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're artists. The best thing is obviously just the art of expression, the human body, and just what it's capable of. And Bruce Lee, I reflect on, he's been dead for so long, but just what a fucking impact he made in the world. He said once, you'll never know your limits until you go beyond them. And what better way to do that is an expression in fighting or any sort of skill, whether it be dancing or something like that. Yeah, that's amazing. So would there ever be a possibility that you would perhaps try MMA, do you think? Would that appeal to you? You know what? I think you're pleasantly surprised. I really do. I think you've got the boxing bug, Maria, but I think, have a little bit of grappling, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and you'll find out very quickly on what you're capable of, where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. But you might find that you might actually gravitate towards MMA. Would you think down the line you might actually try jumping in and doing some MMA?
I'll be honest with you, probably not.
Probably not?
No. I like boxing because I don't like being touched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't picture myself grappling anyone or like wrap myself around someone. I just can't picture myself doing that.
No.
throwing something and getting out of it.
Keeping the distance.
Getting out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Muay Thai?
Again, it's like it's not as tight. I like things looking really neat and like I like to perform. I like things to be really pretty and like that sort of stuff. And I don't know. Muay Thai. There's so much.
There is.
There's so much to focus on.
Yeah.
Boxing's just hands, head movement, and footwork.
Yeah. And
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not down talking any of those guys are tough.
It's amazing athletes, aren't they?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's too much for me, I think.
So have you got any fighters that have inspired you, people that obviously you've watched, fought previously, do you try and emulate them? Like you have your own
Amanda Serrano. I love her.
Yeah.
She is not like she's a great fighter, of course, but I love what she stands for. She's very much like she's got the Guinness Book of this upcoming fight because she's under Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
She's set to make, I think, the Guinness World Record for the highest paid female athlete.
Oh,
something like that. Yeah. Or
wow.
Something like that. But she's very much an advocate for women's sport. And she's an advocate for like, she's like, so, I don't know how you feel about Jake Paul and everything that he does, but she's under his promotion. And she always puts up stuff about him and she's like, say what you want. Like we've raised the purse for fighters. We've raised the purse for female fighters. We've like, she just always does stuff like that. Yeah. And she's like, I think she's the first woman in a long time to bring things up to 3-minute rounds for females. So she's very much a female advocate, which I love. And she's not lost herself in all of her promotion and stuff. She is who she is. And she's like, I don't think she shit talks anyone. She's just there. She wants to have fun. She wants to have a good time. She wants to make some money. And she's very upfront about that. So, I love her. What else do I like? I like Clarissa Shields because she's just gangster. She's just a gangster. She just posts whatever she wants. Again, she's just someone she is who she is. And she doesn't try and change up anyone. And I think I think a lot of athletes have people monitoring their account.
Yeah.
I think she just does whatever she wants.
Does
I
she?
love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And then, those are my main two that I love. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I love a lot, obviously, but those are the two that I religiously.
What do you think of the upcoming Tyson versus Jake Paul fight? What's your thoughts on it? Because it's been pushed back. Do you think it's just a money gimmick? Is it fake? Are we going to see some fucking good fighting? What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's just smart.
Yeah.
I think Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are friends, and they're like, "Oh, this would be funny." I think there's obviously some behind the scenes agreements. They're probably like, "Look, you can't do this. You can do this." I think, regardless of what you say, everybody loves Mike Tyson.
I love Mike Tyson.
We're killed to see Mike Tyson in the ring.
Yeah.
Who else is he going to fight? You know what I mean? Like, who else would be worthy enough to jump inside of a ring? I'm not saying good or bad about Jake Paul, but he's the one with the power and the money to do that. So, like, say what you want. Everybody wants to see Mike Tyson in the ring. Like, so Jake Paul's just done it.
Yeah.
That's what he's done. Like,
when Mike Tyson got out of jail, this was, I think, his first fight back after he'd been incarcerated, and he walked out of there jacked. He was the biggest I've ever seen him. Like, he was just fucking huge. And he fought Peter McNeely, and he was a bit of a shit talker. And I just watched just the highlights of this. This is a long time ago, back in the 90s, but I just remember my dad was fixated on the TV about it. And you just saw the shit talk, and Mike Tyson didn't say a single word. He did not antagonize it. He didn't exacerbate it any further than what it did. But you watch Mike Tyson when he just unleashed himself, he fucking destroyed him. He was just relentless, just brutal. I mean, he was just a remarkable individual. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, he didn't antagonize, but Muhammad Ali antagonized the shit out of his opponents. He would go to their houses and everything, and he still would,
Yeah.
It is one of those things. You are who you are. As long as you're confident in who you are, then you're like, if you want to do a lot of shit talking, then you got to deal with the ramifications. If you just want to sit there and, like, Terence Crawford, one of my favorite fighters, he's not on there anymore, but Terence Crawford doesn't shit talk about anyone. He just wants to fight, and he's amazing. But it it is a bit like I've heard a couple of people, it is a bit harder to market him because he doesn't want to shit talk. He doesn't want to say anything. He's like, I just want to show up and fight. Like,
That's right.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Whatever you decide to do, you just gotta. Yeah.
And it's just the reality is, you know, people will gravitate towards more shit talking. That's why Conor McGregor is so successful because of the banter, the smack talk. He did,
but his is a different type of banter.
Yeah,
His is banter. It's not so much I'm going to kill your mum. You know what I mean?
No,
you know what I mean? Like Ryan Garcia
Yeah.
stuff about Devin Haney's mum or something recently.
I did.
Remember,
Yeah.
it was the one comment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Conor McGregor went a bit too far with the Khabib fight. He did go a little bit too far. So you can't make, you know, sort of racial slurs. And
That's what he did.
yeah, and I think he also offered Khabib some alcohol, and it's against his religion to drink. So when you're going against his religion and even just saying sort of very derogatory remarks, you know, and I have the highest respect for Conor McGregor. I think he's an amazing athlete, but he just went a bit too far. You can't do that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Follow all that stuff.
Yeah. But the fight was amazing.
One that he ended up losing.
Yeah.
And he was talking to him in the ring.
Khabib was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah.
And I think, someone was telling me, they're like, oh, you should have seen the build up to this. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, if you want to say that stuff, you got to be willing to deal with it after.
That's right.
So,
Well, and that's what sells tickets. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's why he's so successful.
Yeah.
You know, that's what sells tickets. But yeah, he did. He went a little bit too far, but it was an exciting fight. It was amazing. But those Kazakhstans, you know, they are just relentless. They work out in the snow and they're lifting logs and shit, and you know, just hardcore training.
yeah.
Just different things like
Something I'd probably like to try for a day.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Just one day. That's enough.
Yeah. Have you ever done the strongman kind of training, like the tire flips?
Yeah.
And the farmers. Yep.
Yeah. I think I did that straight after my fitness.
Yeah.
And I did really well. Like, I think in my first competition I made it to the Vegas international something or other.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
For bodybuilding.
No, for strong
For strongman.
logs and the Atlas stones and stuff. And I remember just being like, oh, I actually don't really like this sport. I'll just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't go because I was like, I don't want to spend that much money on a sport I don't really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the strongman kind of training is amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's, I mean, they're incredible athletes, but I mean, what hard work is it, you know, like lifting up those fucking stones?
Yeah.
Is there a technique for that? Like, how do you,
I'm pretty sure there was, but
you just picked it up?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think he was like, oh, just grab it here. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
It was literally, I think I trained for it for maybe like a week.
Yeah.
I think I got second and I did in Queensland or something.
Yeah.
It was just one of those random things that I was randomly good at. And if I stuck at it, I probably would have been really good, but I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
It's just that, yeah.
Yes. So where to from here? So you said obviously you're in the process of some up and coming events and things like that. You're looking to do more fights down the track.
Yeah.
What else have you got going on?
So mainly the boxing promotional company that we're running. We've got the first show coming up in 3 weeks, but we're already in talks for what's on the next couple of shows. So we want to run them every 12 weeks, but by the looks of the talent that we're getting, it's looking to be probably every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But it all sort of comes down to this first show and how it's executed. And like, you know, I feel like I've thought of, like, it's my first show that I'm promoting, organizing, all that sort of stuff. So I feel like I've thought of everything, but I'm sure I haven't.
Yeah.
So this first one will be like a trial and error. Oh my gosh, everything went smoothly. Let's do it again in 6 weeks. Oh, like on, or, oh my God, no, we've got so much to learn.
Yeah.
We need some more time. But the main factor is like, I've been to so many boxing shows as a watch patron, as someone who's watching. And there's been so many shows that you pay an arm and a leg for, and it's just terrible experience. So I'm here to bring the class to shows, here to bring the entertainment. I want to make sure that people have a really good experience and walk away going like, wow,
Yeah.
an amazing show. I want the fighters to actually feel like athletes and get all the glitz and glam that comes with fighting.
Yeah.
And I want them to I actually want them to feel like professionals. Like there's so many people that I hear it that are like pro fighters, and then the stuff that they're doing, I'm like, that's not very professional.
Yeah.
Like I want my professional athletes that fight on my shows to feel like professionals. So, yeah, that's it. Like we've got the first show November 23. The next one's scheduled for March, if not sooner, but most likely March.
Yeah.
And we've got some pretty big names, which I'm really excited for.
No one you can drop? Nah, keep
No.
on the down low.
No, yeah, there's
Yeah.
a couple of debuts in there, and you don't want to mess up.
No.
Yeah, but there's a couple of maybe influencers on there if that helps.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So I want to obviously take care of the professional athletes in Australia as well, but I also want to bring like that influencer into Australia as well.
Yeah.
That's all really exciting stuff. Hopefully once it gets all running smoothly, I can actually fight on one of the shows as well.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure it's running to a certain standard before I can let someone else come in and do some of it. It's not just me, by the way. There's Luke Medini and Young and stuff. So yeah, that's what's going on. So there's a lot going on, but it's exciting stuff.
What is the key to running a successful event like that? Like,
I'll tell you in 3 weeks.
okay.
But honestly, there's so much. Like we have a checklist that we've had written for the last 2 months, and every day I'm just going through it, making sure I haven't missed anything, checking things off, adding things on, booking this person, booking that person. We're doing a run through of the show, like next weekend, where I'm going to get someone who's been to boxing shows before. They're going to walk through, and I'm going to walk them through the process, and then I'm going to tell them. I want them to tell me what I've missed. And then it's just little things, just making sure that the warm-up area is nice, making sure the fighters know where to go, figuring out like who's going to be telling the fighters when they're ready to walk out. And with the venue that we've got has got like 16 LED screens, and they're all different dimensions.
Yeah.
So the biggest job is getting all the videos to fit the screens.
Yeah.
But it's all those little things you don't think about that's proving to be the most difficult. But it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
Have you seen ONE FC and what they're doing? So ONE FC is a mixed martial arts organization, but also introduces not just MMA, but they have fights from grappling, Muay Thai. They integrate everything. It's an amazing promotion that they're doing. I mean, the UFC hasn't really started that just yet, but would that be something on the cards to integrate other styles and systems into your organization?
Yes, absolutely. And definitely we've talked about that. But we've also said that we need to go to a couple of those shows first so we can understand it better, because we're very much boxing. We know everything about boxing. Between all of us, we know everything about a boxing show. If it's other style, I actually don't know that much. And I don't like people that try to run things and they don't know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I like things to be genuine and authentic.
Yeah.
What we definitely want to, but we need to experience a couple of those shows to make sure. Yeah.
And 100% like drawing more eyes on you. And what better way to go than to be very well diversified, and to have MMA, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, grappling tournaments and things like that. You'll probably get some big names in, down the track, which I think is pretty exciting. Yeah, 100%.
Well, I've got a good hookup right here, don't I?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Yeah. And what about juggling, with what you're doing? You fucking work hard, yeah? I mean, how do you manage that with being a mum, running a business, fighting yourself? What's a typical day look like for you?
It's hard.
As in, yeah.
So wake up early. I usually try to get my run done before my son wakes up. So wake up, run, get home, get my son ready for kindy, drop him off, and then it's straight into work, whether it's like meetings or it's like a lot of the times it's just me going to a cafe or something and just working, because it's hard for me to work at home because there's a TV and there's my bed. So I always go somewhere to work, and it's a lot of just following up. And then I'll do that, and before I know it, the time is like 3:00. I got to go pick up my boy, and then I bring my boy to the gym, and then I train in the afternoon. Then I go home and probably do some more work and watch a movie and go to bed. The one thing I will say I'm lucky with is I started bringing my son with me to the gym since he was like 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
So like he got used to entertaining himself while I train pretty much from birth. Now that he's 5, it's just become part of our routine.
I love that.
I can't imagine what it would be like him if his normal routine was getting picked up from school, then maybe going to a park, then at home watching whatever with his parents. Can't imagine what it'd be like trying to switch up that routine. It'd be possible, 100%, but it would be harder.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I feel like I did right from the start, was like I didn't interrupt my lifestyle when my lifestyle didn't change when I had a baby. I always went to the gym in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I had a baby, I continued that lifestyle. It's the best thing I've ever done, I think, in terms of keeping myself and my personality and my training and my fitness. It's the best thing I've ever done. And that would probably be my biggest advice for anyone who wants to. I think for anyone who becomes a mum, you have to keep part of yourself. It's so easy to get like wrapped up in being just a mum. And I don't say that derogatory at all.
No,
I don't. But I think as your kids get older and they become more independent and then you're sort of left with who you are, you have to be happy with who you are.
yes.
So I think as much as you can keep to your own lifestyle as possible while you have a kid, the happier you're going to be.
I like what you said then, and I don't think it's a selfish act to just put your life on hold. Obviously, you still have to look after your kid, but the byproduct of you leveling up, becoming better, is you're able to give a lifestyle and help your child in other ways. And I mean, what a fantastic opportunity your son is in right now, because you've immersed yourself in combat. He's obviously going to be exposed to that. And, I really do think that, because I had the privilege of chatting with Angie Parr and Jasmine Parr. So Angie Parr is a former 2-time world Muay Thai champion. She is the wife of John Wayne Parr, legendary John Wayne Parr, and then her daughter, Jasmine Parr, who I interviewed as well. A very successful Muay Thai practitioner, and she's won a lot of boxing fights too. But she completely had immersed herself in Muay Thai and martial arts at a young age. And I feel that it's going to be a little bit like your son. He's going to be immersed in this, and what better way to bring him up in this day and age into combat training? Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. Yeah.
Said I shouldn't say I've always said this. Always in my mind, I've always had this thought, like, I just want my son to be like proud. I want him to be like, oh, my mum does this. Oh, my mum does that. Oh yeah, my mum does this. And I just picture like him going to school. Oh, my mum did this on the weekend. Oh, she had this show. Oh, she had this person. Like, just like having that cool lifestyle where they're just like happy to be around it. Because no matter how cool you are, your kids are going to reach an age where they're too cool for you.
Too cool for school.
Mitigate how cool he is for me, then I'll be happy.
Yeah. And as he talked about, obviously, starting up boxing, and he's 5. He's still quite young.
He'll do a little bit every now and then. He'll get in the ring while I'm training, and he'll be like, "Mom, I want to punch you," but he doesn't really mean it. Like, he wants to punch you and not get hit back. You know what I mean?
Has he thrown the mitts on yet?
Yeah. But that's bigger than his torso.
Yeah.
So he just does it to muck around. It's kind of cute at the moment. He knows how to throw a 1-2.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he keeps his hands up and he makes the noises.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the bobblehead going on too. Does he really?
And he bounces. He does this.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So, everything that's been happening in your life, obviously, juggling family and promotions and things like that. Do you still have time, obviously, for other things as well? You said you just came back from overseas, and are you still working when you travel?
Yeah.
It never ends, yeah?
Yeah. I think I worked more because I was like by myself, so I didn't have to like go do meetings and stuff. It was stuff. To be honest with you, no, I don't really have a lot of time for friends and stuff.
Really?
Nah, I don't. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I wish I did, but it's hard. Like, even when I'm with my friends, I'm thinking about work, which is obviously not great. But it's also like, I don't know. This has become such a passion project, and it's so important to me. I don't regret work. There's not a point that I'm working that I'm like, I wish I didn't have to do this. Like as much as it's stressful and as much as it's constant, like I'm happy to be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I find happiness in the work.
Yeah.
And so I will, if there's an event comes up, I'm never the type to no show. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. But it's just, I don't know, like as I've gotten older, maybe like there's just not as many social outings anymore. They're just not, and I don't go looking for them. So, yeah. But it's fine because you go to a gym and it's filled with people every day. You sort of get your social quota met.
Yeah, exactly. You're still socializing. Yeah. It's interesting, Maria. They did an 85-year study, and the biggest indicator of long-term health. It's not going to the gym. It's not diet. It's actually your relationships, your close relationships. And we're in a world now where men are fucking lonely. We have rising rates of loneliness, especially in men. Women, I think, seem to be a little bit better at keeping close friends and are better with relationships. But I think I read somewhere, I think 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 men, I can't remember the stats, has 0 close friends. What would be some advice, do you think, for a lot of guys out there to sort of try and make new friends, to sort of go to a fight gym?
Everything.
Yeah.
Because you can go to a fight gym and not actually fight.
That's
you can
true.
go and do the skill work
That's true.
and maybe do some partner work, but you always end up in a conversation after.
Yeah, you do.
Like,
You do.
you go to a normal gym that's just a bench press and stuff. It's very easy for you to walk in, do your sets and walk out. But you can't do that in like a boxing gym or a martial arts gym or whatever, because you've got to do partner work. You've got to interact with another human being at some point. And usually, if you've done a bit of partner work and one of you cops a punch to the other head, or one of you gets choked out at the end, you're probably going to end up in a conversation after, like, man, you got me good with that one, didn't you? Oh yeah, I'm tired from work.
So true.
Work, blah blah blah. Like, I honestly think it's the answer to everything. You can go to the thing that I think stops people. You don't have to fight. If you go to a fight gym, you don't have to fight.
Yeah.
You do not have to fight. You can go for the fitness, you can go for the skill, you can go for the social.
Yeah.
And like, again, it's not based on how you look. It's literally getting better at a skill.
Yeah.
So you can go, it's not a fashion parade. It's not this or that. You literally, you go for a skill, make some friends.
Yeah.
So to everything, it really is.
100% agree with you. I think the camaraderie and the friendships and the community that you find in the fight gym is pretty amazing.
And even if you don't, there'll be someone in that gym that does fight, and you're going to see them working in the gym, and you're going to want to support them. There's going to be a fight night coming up, and you're going to be like, you go, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And you go, and you've made some friends.
Yeah.
And it's answer to everything.
Yeah. And I think, like, martial artists or just people that go to a fight gym, if you enter a gym, it's not what most people expect. Like, people think they're just a bunch of thugs. It's not.
No.
They're really not. Like, it's just such a counterintuitive to what people kind of believe on what a fight gym is. And, as we were talking about, I've spoken to countless fighters, and they are just such friendly people. And it's a great way to meet friends, isn't it? It's a great place to meet people. But then also, it's the friendships and the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, like, I remember when I first started boxing, it's probably a little bit harder for a female. I remember walking into a boxing gym, and there was a couple of guys that wouldn't even say hello to me. And I'd be like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean you don't say hello to me? And then as soon as I did partner work with them, and I landed some punches on them, they landed some punches on me, best friends.
Yeah.
As soon as you punch each other, best friends. I don't know what it is.
So weird. It's so weird. Yeah. Like the other day, I was rolling with one of the black belts. We had a good 45-minute roll. He tapped me out. I tapped him out. We're just going at it. We're strangling the shit out of each other. But we walked out of the gym, and we just said, bro, you fucking great wrestle. Like, you left your arm open. That's how you got me armbarred. And, we're just talking about where we could improve. It's like therapy. It's like healthy therapy, you know, like your training buddies are your therapists. It's so weird, but it's just such a healthy way of expressing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kids getting into this stuff, it helps them so much in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It really is the answer to everything.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah. But it's just got that stigma to it that it's like just violence and blood. And
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You get around, actually spend a little bit of time, then you would realize it's not that at all.
There is still that stigma towards it. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And so you're on social media, so you have a large following on TikTok. Yeah, you're all over Instagram as well. But people can find you TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah. So Instagram and TikTok is my biggest ones. Lately, it's been more Instagram that's been blowing up than TikTok, which is weird.
Instagram's been blowing up?
Yeah. Instagram way more than TikTok. My TikTok's gone a bit plateaued.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blew up heaps and then it just plateaued out.
Yeah.
But anyway, my Instagram, Maria Rico, how do I spell my name? MARIAREKO. And then TikTok is the same, but my full name, REKOWSKI.
Yeah. And anything you want to add with the up and coming?
If you're in Brisbane, November 23, Next Gen Promotions, it's going to be a massive card, first of many massive cards. If you're someone who wants to box, just have a one-off fight on a fabulous stage, then go to CSC for our Corporate Fighter Challenge
Yeah.
because our Corporate Fighter Challenge is literally designed for people who maybe just want to have one glitz glam fight once, and then whether you want to continue boxing, you can. Platforms are there, but if you just want the one pretty fight, it's there for you too. So November 23, we've got 3 professional, maybe 4 professional fights and 10 corporate fights. We've been training the corporate fighters for the last 7 weeks, and they've come along really nice.
Fuck yeah.
It's going to be a really nice show. We've got some dancers. We've got high-level ring card girls who are also high-end influencers. We've got all the normal officials. We've got before the fight. We've got Stephen Payos, which is the best boxing announcer in the country. We're flying in Josh Hoffman from New Zealand.
Oh, shit.
Do you know Josh Hoffman?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not personally, but I know of him. Yeah.
Well, we're flying him in to do all of the media. So it's going to be top-end media. And yeah, all of the LED screens, which are giving me an aneurysm at the moment because I have to do all of the videos for all of the different dimensions.
Yeah.
But it's going to be flash. We're going to have a 360 photo booth. It's going to be flash.
That's awesome. 23rd of November and
at Eclipse Fortitude Valley.
Fortitude Valley.
Yeah.
And CSC boxing, people get your ass down here to train.
Yes, I'll be in, it's up the road from Fortitude Valley.
Fuck yeah. Exciting, Maria. Maria, thank you so much. It's been an honor to sit down with you.
You.
I really appreciate it.
You too. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Maria.